Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Burg with another episode of Go Giver Influencers. Today's episode is influential ick removal. And we have a great guest coming up. I want to start by saying something that I think you all know about me. I love sales. I love selling. I love to sell, and I love to buy. And I love to buy from people who love to sell and who are good at it. But when I say good at it, I don't mean they're particularly slick or clever or any of that stuff. I mean, they want to take care of the person they're helping, who they're serving, who they're selling. And I think we've all had experiences that we would define as icky when dealing with a salesperson. But typically, those are not the best salespeople. Oh, they can do pretty well, and sometimes for a while, but it's not sustainable. It doesn't feel good, and you've got to be a special type of person, not necessarily in a good way, to be able to sell in a way that's icky. But most people who get into sales are good people. They believe in their product or service, and they want to do good, but they've kind of had experiences in sales that maybe were icky, or they've been told selling is icky and they don't feel good about selling. So we have someone here with us today who takes all the ickiness out of the perception of ickiness of selling and turns it all around. And you are absolutely going to love her. I know I do. Her name is Kendrick Shope, and she focuses on helping women become top salespeople and very successful entrepreneurs. She's the creator of the Authentic Selling Process, which has created millions of dollars in revenue and new business for her clients. She hosts the Sell Like a Woman podcast, reaching nearly 100,000 followers on 6 continents. Wow. Subscribe to that at kendrickshope.com/TV. Now, Kendrick's work has been featured on the Steve Harvey Show, NBC, Forbes, Inc., and more. Her website is kendrickshope.com. Be sure and get her 10 keys to double your sales at kendrickshope.com/ and then there's a whole lot of hyphen. So Shannon's just going to put that on there anyway. So just go to that. Let's see. You can also connect with her on social media. Shannon will put that there as well. Now, on a personal note, I first met Kendrick through a consulting company we both contract with, To Market Media. But I really got to know her through a mutual friend of ours, the awesome and amazing Lisa Copeland. And you know Lisa from episode 2 or 3 or 4 of this show. I don't remember which. But I love Kendrick, and she really is a master of the craft. You want to be sure to ask her any questions that you have in the discussion window. First, Kendrick, welcome, my great friend.
Thank you so much. It is it's such an honor to be here, Bob. I know I've shared this with you, but for your audience, I am like you. I am such a fan of Bob's work. I read Bob's book back before I even owned my own business. One of my managers had us read Go Giver. The last time we spoke, Bob, I texted Curtis, my manager, and said, guess who I talked to today? Like, you remember that book you had us read? Oh my gosh, he's fast becoming one of my favorite people in the world. So I am a little bit beyond giddy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much. And so speaking of that job, you were a top producer. You were a top producer in a corporate environment. So I want to begin there. First, what got you into your corporate job? How did you do so well in it? And what happened that you then made the shift to having a passion for really wanting to work with women? And of course, your principles apply to all of us, women and men alike, but specifically working with women on really embracing sales and becoming really good at it.
Yeah. So I wish I could say that I had the master plan all along. And I knew that at step 1, it was going to take me right where I wanted it to take me, but that would be a big fat lie and not very authentic. I graduated from college, and no, I'm not going to give you the whole 20-year history, but I had a psychology degree. And, you know, there are not a whole lot of people looking to hire regular old psychology majors. So my granddaddy told me, Kendrick, you could sell anything. And I remember thinking, I don't think that's a good thing, but I don't know what else to do. My parents are kicking me out. I've got to make some money. And so I got a sales job, and I've sold a little bit of everything, but I cut my teeth really in the lumber industry. That is as hilarious as it sounds. Looking at me, I had my Valentino shoes on and my hard hat, selling lumber, selling building products, and I was a top salesperson there. And then transitioned into pharmaceutical sales and was a top salesperson there as well.
Wow.
And that eventually led to me being here on your show and starting my own business.
So I want to ask you a question. I talked earlier about the icky factor, right? People coming into sales thinking, I've often said that people, when they say, I don't like selling, or I don't think I can, it's not that they don't like selling. They don't like the idea of what they think selling is. Do you find with your clientele that's an issue? And is one big part of what you do just getting them over that first before you can really teach them how to actually sell? Or is that more me just kind of thinking that's a thing?
No, you're absolutely right. So about 7 years ago, I polled about 15,000 people. And primarily these people were life coaches and coaches in the coaching space, if you will, but not all, but primarily. And I said, how many of you think you need to sell in order to grow your business? Yes or no? Check yes, check no. There was not one person who checked yes, not one. And so I realized Houston, we have a problem because the definition of selling is the exchange of money for a product or service. As you know, without sales, your business is broke. And if we have this subset of amazing human beings who are out to change the world, to help people, and they don't think they need selling, we got a problem. So then I did what all good learners do. I'm a lifelong learner, according to Marcus Buckingham. I went back and said, why? Why do people think that they don't need selling? And the answer that I came to was that very specific scientific phrase, they think it's icky. Right?
I like, hey, that's good for me. I use words like, I use technical terms like thingy and stuff.
Exactly. So, yeah. They think that thingy is icky. Exactly. And so, the first thing we do when I work with anyone who believes that they don't want to sell or tells me that they have an aversion to selling is actually understanding why you have that aversion. And I don't care so much about why you have the aversion, but it's important to know that it's your thoughts, it's your beliefs. That's not the real truth. Then what the actual definition is. And then if we can put a little Bob Burg spin on it and say selling is actually helping, right? If you can change somebody's life, health, business, weight, whatever, you've got the skills to do that. You are making an impact. You are giving. And that then, once we get there, I can teach you all the tactical stuff you need. But it's that mindset shift that has to happen first for a lot of my people.
So can I ask you a man-woman question here?
Yeah.
Since some of what you do really is, the sell with women selling, women buying.
Yeah.
So I want to ask the question, then explain why I'm asking the question. Okay. So the question is, are there significant differences when it comes to selling to men and women? And here's why I'm asking. A friend of mine, a woman, went to a seminar run by a woman on selling to women. And what she said was, and this is what I was told, was that she said that women want choices when they buy, so give them 3 choices. And I'm thinking, well, sure, that makes sense. I want choices too, and I'm a man. Give me 3. I can't remember the last time a salesperson said to me, you have to take this. And I said, oh, okay, great. So I don't mean to make light of it, but I don't see a whole lot of differences. To me, people, in their desire for happiness, they want to buy a product or service that's going to help bring them closer to happiness. Yeah. So is there a big difference when you're selling to a man, to a woman, or let's take it the other way? Does a woman need to sell differently than a man does?
It's a great question. And it's a question that I wrestled with a long time before we even came out with Sell Like a Woman. And so I'm going to talk about the latter part of the question. Basically, do men and women sell differently, right? essentially, and then we can talk about the other side as well. I want choices too. The last time somebody said you need to do X, I probably did not do it, whether
right,
I did it or not,
exactly.
right? So, but here's what I do know. When I was in pharmaceuticals, well, when I was even in lumber sales, I had a man, and this is not going to be popular, especially in today's world. Oh my gosh, I can just hear all the social media crap I'm going to get, but it's the truth. I learned from a man, genius salesman. He had sold lumber forever. And he said to me, Kendrick, when you come out and meet these people selling building supplies for the first time, and I take you around to meet my customers, I don't want you to say a word. I don't care how much you know about lumber. I don't want you to say a word. And then he said something that is so politically incorrect. I'm almost scared to say it. He said, I want you to stand there and look pretty. That's it.
Ooh.
And it did not offend me at all. I know I'm going to get some hate mail for that, but it didn't. And what I learned was, here was this young 20-something somebody coming into all of these men. I was selling to men. And I acted like if I had gone in and acted like I was going to tell them something about lumber, they would have kicked me out. I would have offended them. I didn't look like I knew anything about lumber. And so Ed helped ease me into that role. What I later learned, this is a long answer, but what I later learned selling pharmaceuticals was, I had a boss tell me, Kendrick, if you're not using confrontation, if you don't get thrown out of an office, if you don't ruffle some feathers, you're not selling. That was the man. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, my mama would kill me if I got kicked out of an office. It goes against everything I believe. So I started researching, right? Okay, where do we sell different? Are we different? And here's what I do know. In our reptilian brains, if you will, men and women still have some of the stuff, or males and females, that we carry from survival of the fittest.
Sure.
So, in nature, the male species, or the male whatever, their goal is the protector. They protect. They thrive on confrontation. I'm not saying all men do, but in nature, that's how it is. In contrast, women are ostracized. If they're kicked out of the group, they're dead. If they don't have that man there in nature to protect them, they're dead if they're not part of the group. So what the heck does all this science have to do with selling? It is my core belief that women struggle with selling more than men because they are worried in the reptilian brain about being kicked out of the group, about not being liked, and can men struggle with this? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what it's like to be a man. I'm a woman, so I can only speak for what it's like to be a woman. And so I think that we have to do things, just a slight degree shift, that we feel even better about than a man, so that we don't feel like we're being kicked out, so that survival of the fittest doesn't kick into gear. That's a long answer. Does that make sense?
No, it was a good answer, and it does make sense. Okay, so before I ask you about your authentic selling methodology, just a couple of hellos. ML Bowl, who joins us from Turkey every time.
Hello.
She's here. She's awesome. David Cribbs is here, and Maria Chin has joined us. Sarah Gibson, and Sarah has a question, but I'm going to wait to ask Sarah's question. So Sarah, give us just a minute, because I want to have you first, if I may, ask you to go through your authentic selling process, because you have 6 basic foundational principles, and I wonder if you would just kind of run us through them. Then we'll go back to Sarah.
Yeah, of course. So these 6 foundations, when I realized that I'd stumbled into creating this business, I realized I needed some commandments, if you will, sort of like the 10 Commandments. I needed something to follow, because I knew how to sell. I didn't know how to run a business. So these are the 6 foundations of authentic selling. Number 1 is create a raving fan with every interaction. Now, is that always possible? No, of course not. Of course you can't every single time. But the point is, you strive to create.
Yeah, it's a good goal. It's a good goal to have. Yeah. Sure.
Number 2 is consistency creates trust. So in research, I believe that the number 1 reason people don't buy from you, me, Apple, Best Buy, is they don't trust that the product or service is going to do what we say it's going to do. So if we are consistent, if we show up same time, same day, same whatever, then all of a sudden that puts some of those fears to ease. And all you're doing is creating trust by showing up. Number 3, one of my favorite. All things being equal, friends buy from friends. All things being unequal, friends buy from friends. Number 4, do the common things uncommonly well. Like if you just do that, you're going to stand out among everybody else. If you
Right.
just do the common things uncommonly well. Number 5, and I don't know one sales professional that doesn't talk about this, follow-up is a must. And number 6, if you feel the ick, the sleaze, the slime, the sludge, find a better way. So those are the 6 foundations of authentic selling and the authentic selling process.
Okay, I love that. I want to first, actually, before we move on, and then Sarah will get to you. You've got some great materials and resources. So again, and I printed this out on different sides without meaning to. So Shannon, if you don't mind just putting this once again, I know you've been doing it, but in the discussion area, the discussion window, Kendrick Shope for KendrickShope.com. So make sure to go to that site. It's got a lot of goodies there. Be sure and get her 10 keys to double your sales. I went through that. It's really cool. You also have a great show, KendrickShope.com/TV. And this is really someone to learn from, study from. And I know you have a number of products and so forth. Anything you want to share regarding that I haven't covered as far as resources you want people to know about?
You know, I am a big believer in everything that you teach, Bob, and that would be that there's a whole host of free stuff available. So if you go to KendrickShope.com, we'll lead you on the journey to get all kinds of free stuff that will help you if you're trying to sell more. And if there's so much free stuff there, you may never need to buy a thing, and that's fantastic because it's really good stuff. We put a lot of care and heart into it, like you do.
You're going to want more of Kendrick the more you get to learn about her. Let's see. Maria Chin wrote, "Wow, that's big," regarding what you were talking about earlier. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to Sarah. And the thingy here just moved. So let me find Sarah. So for me, selling boutique clothing, am I better to say I'm helping women complement their wardrobe with new choices? That's her question. Now, Sarah, I'm not exactly sure. Better to say that as opposed to something else? Or are you just asking Kendrick if that's a good benefit statement or tagline or something that to communicate? Because I would assume if it's boutique clothing, you probably are gearing it to women. I'm assuming that. So what do you think, Kendrick, just from what you heard? And Sarah, if there's something more, you can feel free to post again. So if there's more information.
So helping women complement, will you read me the statement one more time, Bob?
Helping women complement their wardrobe with new choices.
Great. Oh my gosh, I love this. I love that this is a boutique question too, because I love to shop. Bob, you said something at the top of the show, and I wonder if this is true because you said, I like to buy. And I'm thinking maybe all good salespeople are good buyers because I like to buy as well.
Here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing, and I've talked about this with many, many sales professionals because I used to hear people say, you can't sell to another salesperson. That's ridiculous. I don't mean to say it's ridiculous. I don't want to diss what someone else says. But most of us who are we love to buy, and we love to buy from good salespeople. We're proud of what we do. So when we see, it's like a comedian who just loves watching other great comedians. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or a entertainer who loves watching great entertainment. If you're proud of what you do, if you know, most writers, we love to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, go ahead. I didn't need to get on a.
So I love this question about
instead of saying I sell clothing, she's saying instead of saying I sell clothing, am I better to say I'm helping women complement their wardrobe with new choices?
So here's what I think. I think that actually we can do better than that. So I sell clothing. Okay, great. I help women complement their wardrobes with new choices. I don't know one woman who goes to bed that says, I want new choices in my wardrobe. What do they go to bed saying when it comes to their clothes? I want to look amazing. I want to feel amazing. I want the perfect green jacket because green is my signature color. So what are you essentially selling? Yes, you're selling clothes, but why does that matter? Well, because you're giving increased confidence. But women don't go to bed and say, I want increased confidence. So what does the confidence do for them? Well, it allows them to get more of what they want. It allows them to feel more beautiful. So essentially, what you want to do is, yes, I help women complement their clothing or wardrobe with new options. Whatever is better than I sell clothes. But essentially what you're doing is you help women look, feel, and be amazing through their clothes. You help women get what they want by showing up in the perfect outfit that allows them to get the raise, that allows them to whatever. So I think that, yes, you're thinking along the right way, but the great way to get to the benefit is to say, what do women say when they put their head on their pillow? I'm going to France in 4 days and I have to wear a ball gown, and I'm going to Fashion Week and I have to wear a ball gown, and I don't go saying I want to wear I don't own a ball gown, but I want a new ball gown to complement my wardrobe. What I'm saying is I want to feel fabulous in Paris and look amazing at Fashion Week. That's what you do for people. That's what you need in that statement. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, well, Kathy and I, whenever we write any kind of sales copy, we always put everything to the what we call the so what test.
Yep.
Because we both have the habit of, I think, especially me, writing in, just saying what the thing is. So we'll do the first copy and then we'll go through it again. Okay. And first of all, we take out all references to I or me, and there's much too many of them in there. Again, that's me doing that. And then also we'll look at what we think is a benefit, and then we'll say, well, so what? Well, this does this. So what? Well, it's going to help you to do this. So what? Well, it's good. And we'll go about 3 or 4 so whats until we get to the final answer. And I think you did a beautiful job of just taking us through that exercise.
Yeah. We call it, it's so funny. So same tool, we call it the 5 why test.
Okay.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Right.
And so, yeah.
Exactly.
Ken Walls, you're hilarious. I'm sorry. Ken Walls says he's calling me to sell me a ball gown after this. You're hilarious.
That's great. Joe Quigley wrote, excellent. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. That's right. And of course, Joe, to do that, we have to ask questions and listen so that we understand what's in their shoes, because most of us have different size feet. Let's see. Jason Williams says, I'm offended if I don't get sold. And that's all right. If they don't offer you to be able to buy, it's kind of an insult. Well, aren't I good enough to buy from you? Bruce Corkill is loving your information. Megan DiMartino, she says, this is so rich. We'll listen again and again. Megan's another one of what I call the awesome Austins. And that is a group in Austin, Lisa and Sherry, and Megan, and there's a few others who are these amazing, brilliant Renee Bangelsdorf. They're all these amazing entrepreneurs who just are fantastic, and they're all.
I kind of have envy, so I kind of have the amazing Austin envy. Like, I want to be one of those people. I keep telling Lisa, I'm just going to come. I'm just going to show up at your house like Ken Walls did, and I'm going to become part of the amazing Austin group.
I think you're an honorary one, because Lisa, and Lisa's one of my real life action heroes. She talks about you all the time.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So let's see. Maria wrote, we're probably talking about salespeople. We're probably the easiest ones to sell to. I agree, because if we're proud of what we do, we want other salespeople to succeed. We're rooting for them. Massimo Sylvia says, hi, Bob. Oh, this is nice. Every time your Facebook Live ended, I feel like I'm smarter and stronger. I wanted to thank you and your guests. Thank you. That's very nice of you, Massimo. Okay, so I want to move on, because, Kendrick, so many people have knowledge and they have wisdom, and they can share it with people, and they can do this from the comfort of their own home, but they may not know how to get the word out there. You have done an amazing job of building a hugely profitable internet business by serving a ton of people. So my question is, if you want to put your information into a course, or even it could be just selling a product or service online, I guess, it can seem overwhelming. So how does one get started doing so? I'll put it right out. How do you get started? How do you do it?
I love this question. I love it. I love it. So for a course specifically, the first thing that I would say is, and I need to find my picture of this, but get 3x5 note cards and write down, 1 per note card, everything you know. Now, not in depth, but I know how to prospect. I know how to engage. I know I can teach how to have a sales conversation. I can teach follow-up. I can teach you how to write a sales page, like one per note card, and lay them out all over your floor. And then what you want to do is bucket them. So for example, when we created Sales School, we got it into, 5 buckets. So the first thing we need to do is overcome mindset. And here are all the tools that I can teach as far as mindset is concerned. And then number 2 is writing your sales map and writing copy. And so here's all the things we can do. And so you sort of bucket them into groups. What will begin to happen as you do that with your note cards is it'll begin to take the form of a course. You'll begin to say, well, I can't teach follow-up until I teach sales conversations. So you'll begin to put them in order, but write down everything you know. Another great place, if you've had a book published, or not even published, but if you've written a book, or if you've had a blog for a long time, your content's already in there. If you've written a book, it's probably already organized. Just sort of go through and highlight, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. And I like visual, so I would transfer it to note cards and bucket it again. And so then you have the makings of your course or your product or whatever it is that you want to create. From there are a couple of things you have to do. Number 1, you have to figure out the modality of how you want to deliver the course, whether it's video, live, whatever. But then you have to market the course. So of course there are all these little things, write a sales page, all of those things. But you just start putting yourself out there for free. You start, you create a Facebook group around the topic that your course is around. So for you and me, Bob, it would be selling, right? Or you have a show like this where you can prospect and engage with people. Eventually, that's going to lead to the authentic selling launch formula, how you launch this course. And that's going to be, you give away some amazing free content that leads to the opening of your cart. And you have a series of emails that fire to your list during the opening of your cart, and you sell this product or service, and then you close the cart. Now that is a 40,000 foot overview. Step 1 is, what are you going to teach? And here's how you figure out what you're going to teach. And then from there, everything we do needs to grow an audience so we have somebody to sell to.
And I won't mention numbers here because you haven't given me permission to do so, but let's just say Kendrick has put up some immense, amazing sales numbers, and she's shown other people how to do the same. So if this is something that describes you, you want to connect with her. And
you're fine to mention numbers. I mentioned numbers. That's kind of you.
Kendrick, in your bullet points, you have one I especially love that I think everybody would be interested in. You say, a tip to increase your business by 50%. I like that. I think we all would. Tell us about that. Unwrap that one for us.
Yeah. So Bob, you know this as well as anybody, right? But follow-up is statistically proven to increase your business. Some studies say up to 80%. But one of the things I think we don't do is we don't talk about why it works. You hear sales professionals and sales experts say, you got to follow up, you got to follow up. But here's the why behind that. Research shows that seasoned sales professionals follow up 3 or less times after a sales call, 3 or less times. So if you follow up just 4 or 5, you are already doing something uncommonly well. And who is that person going to buy from when they're ready to buy? The person who follows up with them. I'm living proof of that. It's how I got my pharmaceutical sales job. The manager just kept following up with me and following up. 3 years he followed up with me saying, hey, just checking in, how you doing? You have any desire to come sell drugs? No, I'm good right now. Hey, how you and your husband doing? How you and your husband doing? I know you're new to the area. What? 3 years. 3 years later, when I was ready to make the leap, who did I call? But Stan Finnerty, and said, hey, I'm ready to sell some drugs now. The legal kind, mind you. But
no, of course. Harumph, sure.
Yes.
Hey, we have one more question from Sarah, if we may.
Of course.
She writes, and I know this is right in your wheelhouse, Kendrick. She writes, I love helping women feel amazing with my clothing. I have a good business mind and I'm creative, but I need to feel more confident with selling. I don't want to sound pushy. First, good idea, but you shouldn't sound pushy. Yeah. So go ahead, take the confidence part of that, because that's so much of what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is exactly what Bob said. You're on the right track. Like if you are engaging in an activity that makes you feel pushy, you're not going to get the results you want. So stop it. That's what I call your sales guardrail. You know, if you are doing something that makes you feel icky, sleazy, slimy, pushy, stop it right now. Just stop it. Even if you don't know what to do, don't do that.
Don't do it, right?
Yeah. So the next thing is, and Sarah, you should definitely head over to kendrickshope.com. Even shoot me an email, because I can give you some Kendrick at kendrickshope.com. I can definitely give you some resources. But the first thing I would say is you've got to get really sold on the value you deliver. So you said, I have a good business mind. I'm creative, but I need to feel more confident with selling. Great. So then the first thing I would tell you to do is read your press. And what I mean by that is all the positive things that women say about your clothing. Read that. That's going to help with your confidence. The next thing, and the bad stuff, throw it out the window. We'll deal with that later. But believe the hype. I want you to believe the hype. The second thing is you need to put yourself through the 5 why test, or as Bob said, the why does it matter?
The so what
so
test,
what,
yeah.
so what, right? So what, or why does it matter? So we want to get you to the point where selling feels like helping. And when you're helping, it in no shape, form, or fashion is going to feel pushy. So think about the woman who walks into your store, to your boutique, and she is there because she's had a rotten day, because she's feeling a little bit overweight, because her husband and she and her husband had a fight, because she had a really bad sales day, because I don't know what happened, but she's not feeling good. And you walk in and say, hey, how can I help you today? I'm just browsing. The next thing you know, this woman walks out with $5,000 worth of clothes. Now, that's a good day for you, and it's a good day for her, because she walked in feeling down in the dumps, not confident, and she walks out a new woman. Because let me tell you something, a new pair of shoes can change your life, a new wardrobe can change your life. And that is true, and you know that because you sell clothing. And so you need to put your clothing through the 5 why test. Why does it matter? Why does it matter that I feel so confident in this green jacket? This is my green jacket that I wore because I knew I was going to be talking to Bob Burg, and I'm a little bit nervous because I think he is a god. So this gives me confidence, just this color. So why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? And then your perspective, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. Your perspective will shift, and you will say, oh my gosh, women from all around, you have to come in my boutique, because you're not just getting clothes. You are getting to highlight all the beautiful, wonderful things about you. And then word travels. I go into this boutique. There's this boutique I go into in Sweetwater, Tennessee. I spend way too much money every time I go, and I feel like $5 million when I walk out because of the way they treat me. Not because I can order the clothes online. I fly to Tennessee to go to a boutique because of the way they make me feel. You're not just selling clothes. You got to put yourself through the 5 why test, and then it's not going to feel pushy. And if it does, you come find me. I'll help you.
Kayla Eggenberger writes, Kendrick is awesome. She's totally changed my perspective on selling. Sherry Matthews says, the Austin tribe will love and embrace Kendrick. Come visit. Kendrick Shope focuses on helping women become top salespeople and very successful high-earning entrepreneurs. She's the creator of the Authentic Selling Process, which has created millions of dollars in revenue and new business for her clients. Her website is kendrickshope.com. Subscribe to her Sell Like a Woman podcast. That's at kendrickshope.com/TV. Be sure and get her 10 keys to double your sales. And that will be, it's too long to list, so that will be in the window in a moment. These are being posted right now. So, and they have been throughout the show. Check that out. Hey, as a reminder, if you haven't yet picked up John David Mann's and my newest book in the Go-Giver series, The Go-Giver Influencer, make sure to pick that up at thegogiver.com, as well as the original book and whatever else you'd like in the series. If you're interested in attending Kathy Tajanel's and my next Go-Giver Entrepreneurs Academy, the next one is in January. And we limit that to 10 people so that we have plenty of time to work with you on your business. Go to GoGiverEntrepreneursAcademy.com. If you'd like to look at joining our team of certified Go-Giver speakers, go to GoGiverSpeaker.com. Again, all those are going to be in the, I just want to say show notes, but like a podcast.
I know, I do too.
Yeah, the discussion window. And of course, join our page on at the Go-Giver Go Giver Influencers. That's our Facebook page where Kathy and Shannon post something inspiring from the books every day. We have a lot of great discussion. Make sure to join Kendrick's groups. Make sure to join Lisa Copeland's group. It's awesome. Make sure you listen into her and Renee Bangeldorf's webinar they just did. Should be able to get the replay on that. Hey, Kendrick, you, my friend, are an absolute delight, and you have already become one of my favorite people, and I just look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. And can I say one thing, Bob? What are you going to say when somebody says that? No,
Right.
you can't. Shut up. The time's over. That would be great for your brand. I just want to say to all of your people, and I know you know this because Bob is so authentic, but Bob lives his brand as well as anybody I have ever met. So I had the pleasure of meeting Bob virtually not too long ago, and I got a handwritten follow-up from him. I got the kindest email. I missed an email from him and didn't respond, and I was mortified. I mean, I kind of felt like I'd missed an email from Oprah and didn't respond. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I missed your email. He was so kind. And so the reason this stuff works is because this man lives it. I can think of no better person to represent what is authentic and good about selling. And so, you know, you write books and we look up to you, but I just want y'all to know that when the camera's not rolling, when he's not out selling his books, when he's not out selling his courses, he's the same person. And that is why you are fastly becoming one of my favorite people. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, you just made my day. Thank you so much, Kendrick. I appreciate that so much. And wow, what a way to end. Until next week, this is Bob Burg wishing you all a fantastic day and a terrific week. Be well. Bye-bye.